Curiosity is a behavior that you don't have to learn because we always have been curious when we have been children.
Hi there, welcome to Heroes of Change, our interview series. And on the line I have with me tonight, or in the morning, where he is, Christian Bucholtz from Düsseldorf.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
So thanks so much for your time, your morning, Christian, just exploring stories of change. And one area I'm particularly interested in is when we say we change our thinking to change our lives. If I was to say that to you, Christian, what sort of thoughts come into your head about that phrase?
All our behavior that we do, even in the job or private life, is based on our attitude and our perspective.
Yeah, there's that concept, isn't there, about framing and perspective and the ability to shift frames to see something differently. Can you give an example maybe in recent years where you'd been in your conscious mind, you have to change your thinking to get a different result or a better result?
What we often do is we're changing the questions that people are asking about things. And so people see a problem and they say, oh, we need to solve that. And they say, we have a problem, we need to increase the speed of the machine. At the end of the session, we realized that we have to change the question. So the question was not how can we speed up the machine. The question was how can we slower down the ingredients that comes to the machine. So this was a solution at the end, and it was much, much easier to solve than speeding up the machine and doing all this technical work that they had to do with that. So, and that is something that often happens in my business, that changing the question means changing the output. When we see a problem, we want to solve it. And we want to start immediately. So going back and taking your time to think about the problem while you already have a possible solution in your head is for many people that is quite different.
The next question is really about role models around you and influences for change in your life. And obviously your father's a key role model for you, and inspirational role models who've shifted and changed and adapted.
I guess I always tried to find role models in every situation. So I don't know a certain name or someone, but on every station in my life, I was focused on people where I could learn something from. So in every new situation, I try to find someone who's better in something than myself, and who can support me in learning. So I guess it's not a specific role model like there's one person or two persons, but in different situations there have been different people who helped me a lot.
And when you're going through change, do you have anything that you go to that's sort of in your comfort zone?
I play the piano. So I do that since I'm a child, and I've been a child, and I'm not a professional player in a way that I did concerts when I was younger, but I haven't done anything in the last 20 years. So I'm only playing for myself, and sometimes I do that in hotels also. So sometimes hotels have these ballrooms.
Yeah.
They have a piano there, and when they're abundant in the evening, then sometimes I ask them if I can use the piano to play some music, and this immediately relaxes me, and I feel much stronger afterwards.
One thing I'm always interested in these interviews, I call it the sort of the emotional tipping point. Where you come to a point where you're either your dissatisfaction and your unhappiness is driving you to shift and make change.
I think about it always as a point of setting a new course, like a captain. So you're sailing in one direction, and sometimes someday you see, okay, I'm on the wrong course, so I need to change something, and then you're going from that time on, you're going into another direction. And there's this moment of decision that you have when sometimes you need a lot of pressure to reach that. When you say, okay, now I'm changing, and then the course is set, and you're in and then it feels good.
Can you give an example of where you've overcome procrastination and you've managed to sort of tunnel your way through that wall of resistance?
I always have too much ideas and too much projects. So I always have to take a decision which one is the one that I follow. And there's always a tough decision between which projects that I need and which are projects that I love. So that is, and sometimes I decide the ones that I like than the ones that I need to do. And of course, there's a time where you need to do that just to finish that. I think the secret is to just do it. Because procrastination means that you're dealing with that task a lot in your head. And if you just do it, you just get it done. So that's just the secret. You cannot solve things by thinking about it.
Yeah.
You only can solving things or making the next step by just move on.
I guess in that example for you, that for me sounds a bit more like prioritization. It's interesting. A number of interviewees have said, "Just do it." You know, like the Nike slogan.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you have an extreme procrastinator, that as a coach, that doesn't help them. So they need to find their own pathway to do what they've got to do.
In a way, just do it means more not thinking, just do it, but just put an activity on your schedule.
Sure. Yeah.
And maybe the activity is not something that is solving the problem or doing the whole process. Maybe it's just one step.
Sure. Yeah.
And then immediately you start, going closer to that behavior.
And just finally here tonight, if you had one piece of advice for those viewing this interview who are contemplating change in their life, and they may be resisting it, and they're thinking that the paralysis, there's too much thinking going on. I know you mentioned a minute ago, well, just do it. Is there any other advice you could give that person or that team or that company?
My advice would be, and that helped me a lot in my life, to stay curious. Because I think the curiosity is something that is not a business term. We are focusing our work on doing things not with curiosity, but we need to do it in a smart way, in a fast way, in an efficient way. But curiosity means taking your time to rethink and to ask stupid questions. And this is something that can help you a lot, not only with building innovation, but also with dealing with change. Because when you're curious, you find different pathways. And I have a little son who is starting to asking a lot of questions, and sometimes you feel that like these are stupid questions, like why is the sky blue, or why do cars drive? But when you think about it, and you realize, I don't know the answer, because I don't know the real answer, because I just take it for granted.
I think that's an excellent point you make on curiosity, and that's essential for us to keep that curiosity, isn't it, and ask those questions and encourage that. And it's part of the natural human condition that should be encouraged. So yeah, that's a great piece of advice. Hey, thank you so much for your time. Well, this morning in Germany and this evening in New Zealand.
Thank you for doing the interview with me.
Really appreciate it. And I hope to see you real soon. Okay. Auf Wiedersehen for now.
Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Okay.
And thanks a lot.
Thanks, Christian.